been doing the podcast for like years. I started like, I don't know, years ago. And then it was just like me rambling about juggling.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then I did a few interviews, but with like friends, like anybody.
Yeah, just people in the community.
Yeah, just people. And then it was like before COVID, and it was before even like Me Too and a lot of movement. And then we went into a period of like people were getting canceled right
the
and
whole
left.
cancel culture. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I freaked out because I was like, what did I say? Because I was not filtering. I was just saying whatever.
Just stream of consciousness and just letting it run. Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I said a bunch of wrong stuff that I shouldn't say, so I kind of freaked out.
That's the scary thing about putting yourself online. It's like you don't know.
Because it kind of stays frozen like this forever, and then we grow, we change.
Yeah, exactly.
I change my ideas. And I don't remember everything I said. And so there's like a record, and I freaked out, so I erased everything.
You just wiped it all. Okay, yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know.
I don't want to be,
I don't want to be suddenly.
I don't want this to come back in 10 years and
and suddenly I said
stop
something.
me from getting a gig or a contract. Or
Or
just people view you a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and then I tried to start it again, and then I thought like, okay, I'll do more like planned, or I think a little more, and then eventually I didn't really like kept doing it.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like the third time I'm starting the podcast again, and this time I just want to do conversations with other jugglers.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to talk to jugglers.
Juggling is also a fairly safe concept.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Which is nice.
It's apolitical.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be talking together, and fuck it. Like the rest is it doesn't really matter to me because Anyway, so that's about juggling.
Did you have anything you wanted to talk about specifically with juggling, or?
Well, mostly what it means to you, how did you start, where are you at now, the evolution,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I guess I can just go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I guess I
put this guy in front of you.
Oh, thank you. I started when I was 14. My parents owned some property, and I was supposed to be doing chores like moving wood and logs and chopping down like small trees to build.
Where was that?
This is in Kansas, where I grew up. Cool. A really small town called Valley Falls, Kansas. There's like 1,100 people. There's nobody. Yeah, there's no jugglers. There's no nothing. Basically, if you're... Yeah.
And at 14 years old, is there internet already?
Yeah, there's internet. That's actually kind of what boosted my juggling, was finding the internet. So I was out one day, not moving wood as I was supposed to be. And the wood specifically were hedge trees. And hedge trees have these like big green balls that are like very sappy. And I'd never seen them before. And I was like, what is that? And so I like picked them up and I started playing with them. And so I just taught myself how to juggle with these balls, and I didn't think much of it. And then my mom comes and I showed her what I learned.
Right away, the 3-ball cascade pattern, or
it was mostly like 2 balls, and then like getting comfortable and just playing. Like I didn't know much about juggling or what it was, but I played a lot of sports and I was coordinated, so it was pretty natural. And then my mom said I should learn, and then I did. And
from internet.
Yeah, later that night I went home and I like typed it into YouTube, and then I just became a YouTube kid. I was like, wow. So I found YouTube and then I learned how to do 3 balls, and then I didn't think much of it, and then I was doing it at baseball practice, like 6 months later. I'd kind of like stopped juggling because I didn't know that it was a concept. I was like, oh, I learned how to do it. I did it, and then I just moved on. And then I did 3 balls at baseball practice, and all the kids were like so impressed. So then I went home and I looked up more things, and I saw you could do 4 balls, and I was like, you can do 4 balls?
Right.
That's real. And then I saw 5. I was like, you can do 5 balls, and then it just opened this world of possibilities on YouTube. And then for the next 6 months, I was addicted. I was like not doing anything except for juggle. I would come home and I would just juggle, and I bought props. Well, I guess my mom made balls for me to juggle out of like socks and pantyhose and rice. Nice. And I juggled those for almost a year.
Nice.
Yeah, almost a year. And then I found like a community. That's also what really took off my juggling at about...
Was it online too?
Yeah, well, I was looking for resources online with my parents because I couldn't drive.
Right.
I was too young. I couldn't do anything. And we found that there was a juggling club in Kansas City, Missouri.
Right.
Called the Kansas City Juggling Club. And it was held at an all-girls school in a cafeteria at St. Teresa's Academy. And we messaged them and asked if I could go, and they were all the most welcoming people you've ever met.
Yeah.
Greg Owsley and Justin Sheldon, and I'm gonna forget a bunch of people's names.
No, but I mean, everybody in the juggling community usually is really nice.
They just welcomed me, and they taught me how to pass, and they taught me all these new tricks. And I think that like finding a community is really what exploded.
Did you do like every week?
Yeah. So my parents would drive me an hour and a half there to juggle for 2 hours, and then an hour and a half back. And they did this for, I think, a year, until they were like, you have to get a driver's license.
Right.
We can't keep doing this.
No, because, shout out to them.
Yeah, like, exactly. They supported me in every way possible.
That's awesome.
And then after about a year of going to juggling club, my parents I started going to festivals. This was actually right away, about a month after
15.
going to 15. So the first week of the Kansas City Juggling Club, they had contacted me and they said the next week was the Kansas City Juggling Festival.
Oh, wow.
The annual. And so then I went to that, and that's what, I keep saying these things like exploded my mind of juggling, but it kind of just kept ramping up and up and up.
Opening the world of what's possible and what people are doing.
So I'd been juggling for about a year by the time I went to the Kansas City Juggling Festival. And then I met a bunch of people who I've seen online. Like one of like the earliest inspirations for me was Doug Sayers, and I met Doug Sayers, who's now working in the show.
Yeah.
And so my mom went up to him and was like, I've seen you in my kitchen. And he's like, who is this freak telling me? And she just means that I've been watching him every day on YouTube. And then I met other jugglers that I love, like Eric Jackson. He taught me side swap because I didn't know anything about it. Yeah. And that also like completely changed my juggling for the better. Yeah. Like now I would say I'm mostly a technical juggler interested in side swap and skill progression. And that's largely due to like Doug and Jonah and Eric for even like showing me the basics of what that means. Right. And this was it all happened so fast from going to the juggling club from the first time to the next week going to the festival. And then after that, like once a month I was traveling across the US to go to a juggling festival, thanks to my parents.
And they would drive you?
Yeah. My mom would drive me everywhere. My dad would go to a few, and then my mom would drive me like we would drive 9 hours across the country just to go to a festival. And then the next month we'd do it again. And then 2 weeks later we'd do it again.
I mean, I guess that's what it takes if you grow up in a city where there's
like nothing. Yeah. And without them, I wouldn't be here today because I couldn't have done that. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I started. So you kept
doing that until...
Yeah, until college, I think. So
what
probably
did you do for college?
Yeah, in college I went to Kansas State University and I studied financial analysis and German.
Wow.
And now I don't use much of that. I mean, I love German. I don't study it anymore, but I fell in love with the language.
So you read, you listen,
Yeah. I don't consume a lot of content in German, but I'm happy that I learned a good chunk of it. I would say I have like the skills of a 5-year-old. So I can like talk to people, but I can't talk about advanced topics.
I mean, language is like, if you don't practice it,
exactly.
It just dies.
If you don't surround yourself with other people who are speaking it or part of the community, you're gonna lose it.
It's very hard. Yeah.
And in terms of finance, I don't use much outside of investing.
I mean, maybe being smart with your money.
Yeah, that's
I guess.
It. Yeah, and now I guess I'm just fortunate that I had juggling because we juggle like as our jobs, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. I can't imagine being behind like
a desk
every day, all day. It just seems.
This is really like sometimes I have to remind myself. Yeah. Because it's a tough journey to be a professional juggler. It's not always like rosy.
I guess for me it was a bit rosy, but I think
awesome.
I got lucky. Yeah. What's your history of?
But I mean, I'm at 30 years of a juggling career.
Okay.
So 30 years can't be just rosy the whole time, you know.
Good
so
point.
it's like there's great moments where you have a contract that lasts, or I'm just flowing between one contract and another, and then there's plenty of times where I have a freaking 6 months nothing.
You're just hanging out, looking or waiting.
Yeah, but I mean, I realized that the biggest jumps that I did in my juggling was when I don't have a contract.
Yeah.
Because now I can juggle for me. I don't have to warm up the act or whatever and do 10 shows a week, therefore like being pretty much consumed by performing for a show, and I'm done, and I'm just juggling for myself. And so those are the good times in juggling where I'm not working for someone or doing a show. Then I'm working for myself, and I'm getting better at it. So it's not bad, but it's just I feel that sometimes juggling for me turned into a chore. It's like I have to do it because, like not every day of my life I'm like, I want to juggle. Like some days I'm like, I just want to fucking chill.
Yeah.
But then you have a show. You have to go and warm up and actually do the juggling. So those moments is just going over the hump of like not feeling like, oh, I have to do this, but reminding myself like I'm a juggler.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing.
And
Like
when you
I'm
have a
juggling
job
for a living.
Yeah, when you have a contract, you show up to work every day and you are juggling, but it's not for you. But you still get that itch of like, I juggled. Exactly. So you don't feel like I should go home and practice or like train seriously because you are juggling and you're showing up and you're doing it. So you do, you lose a bit of like the drive, the want, the desire, the passion, because you're surrounded by it in a way of you have to do it.
Yeah.
It is still work. It's not hard work, but you still is like mentally.
It is work. I mean, like you have to show up and do it. Sometimes you just don't want to do it and you just have to do it. And suddenly you don't have a job for a while, and then you're like, how did I ever bitch about having a job? You know what I mean? Exactly. But it's always greener on the other side.
I find that it is, the grass is always greener.
Yeah. So for that's why it's like, for me, it's like always had some ups and downs, but I'm in a period right now where I'm like super excited. I'm discovering new stuff.
Those are the best moments too. Like juggling is so much more fun when you have a motivation. Like what is it? Because you're working on a solo show? I don't know if that's related to juggling.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I texted you that a little bit, this idea of ambidexterity and like working on. Right now, I'm teaching myself to be a lefty.
Okay.
Because I've been right-handed my whole life.
This is probably the best thing jugglers could do, and nobody does this.
For me,
nobody.
I'm obsessed about this, and that's the only thing I do.
Okay.
So recently, I've become better with my left hand than with my right hand.
Oh my gosh, this could be like groundbreaking for juggling.
It was for me.
Yeah.
And then I had a meltdown because my brain could not accept that. Wait a minute. My right hand knows what the fuck it's doing.
Yeah.
How come now my left knows better? And so it was kind of like a hierarchy of the limbs of my body shifted. And it's like, it's not like we have 36 limbs. We have like two arms, and it's like shifting the primary and the secondary was a mind fuck. Like my brain was resisting it and be like, no.
Because you prioritized one for 30 years, and now all of a sudden this one is getting all the attention and it's getting better.
And so the feeling that I need to work on my right hand now was like, what? Like, no. My right hand knows what to do. And so I've been playing with that. So I've been on that path, and so I took over with my left, with my 5 balls, everything up to like 6 balls, and then 7 it was starting.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to work on like 8 and 10 balls, and like simply juggling very high with like 5 or 7 or 8, which put more pressure on your body. And then I'm adding little weights on my wrists to make the whole pattern heavier, or my hands heavier, so the whole pattern is heavier. So I have to like dig deeper into the muscle dynamic in my body. And now I'm realizing, I still have deficiency on the left because the strength part. So now it's not like the dexterity, because that's pretty much balanced by now. It's the strength aspect. So I'm working now, juggling with like, I try with like heavy balls and little weights on my wrist and stuff like that to make the whole thing heavier, and trying to juggle like height of 11 or 13 or even like bounce the balls off the ceiling. So I can like just chuck them as hard as I can so I can feel where I need to improve that muscle mass.
Because there's not much, like in terms of if you want to be the best juggler possible, it just comes down to like your power, your hand speed, and your accuracy. Just in terms of like base patterns, like we're working on that. If it is like 7 balls or 9 balls or 8 or 10, it's just how accurate can you throw them, how fast can you throw them, and how high can you throw them. Because that will just continue the skill progression of your potential. Absolutely. And so once you work on that, then you'll just get better and better.
Yeah.
And so more people should do that. What types of things did you do to make, like what drills or what way did you practice to make your left hand better? Is it just kind of rewiring your brain of starting everything with your non-dominant hand? Or go.
Yeah, no, that was one of the basic things that I started.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, I'm always starting my patterns with my left hand for a while. And then once I got comfortable with that, I was like, however I pick up the balls, that's how I start.
Yeah.
So however I stop a pattern or I pick them up from the ground, that's just how I start.
I noticed that, we have tendencies. Like I always stop. I always stop in my right hand. Like the last throw is always my left. And then you realize you have these tendencies of like, you stop and then you hand it across and then you go again. It's like, why am I being inefficient?
Exactly.
Why don't I always end with my right hand throwing so that my dominant hand can start?
Yeah.
Because you're just wasting time. Yeah.
Or just whatever.
Or just start again.
Exactly. Wherever the ball falls, that's where I start.
Yeah.
So no reshuffling.
Yeah.
Because that was my Russian teacher that told me that. Like, because, you when you have a bunch of balls in your hands, you want to feel them where they should be.
Yeah.
And so you have 7, and then I'm like kind of like as a habit pushing them around to feel them the way I want to feel them. And she was like, stop doing that.
That's
just
interesting.
Catch the balls, and however you catch them, that's how you start.
That's how you throw.
And then eventually I realized that it developed the ability to just feel and rearrange the ball just by holding like 4 balls in my hand without the need of reshuffling anything. Yeah. And then I tried to push the concept of like, okay, how far can I take that? Whatever it is, that's how I start. So that became a habit. And then more recently, like for the past few years, it's been working on my optical nerve. So my theory is like, as jugglers, we're like masters of the nervous system.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what the primary organ we're using is the nervous system.
Okay.
So we're using the muscle, we're using our brain, but basically the connection of the brain to your muscle is the nervous system, and then we're firing that nervous system
based on what we see and based on what we've thrown and done. Yeah.
So the optical nerve is connected to your nervous system. It's a nerve, optical nerve, nervous system. The whole thing is nerves. And I realized that when I would close one eye, what tends to do is like my brain, a part of my brain tends to go dormant, and then juggle 7 balls with one eye closed.
That's quite difficult. You lose some depth perception when you go down to one eye. Yeah.
For sure. But you get used to the depth perception thing.
Okay.
And then what I'm trying to do is, like, when you close one eye, there's a part of the brain that is juggling as if your eyes was closed. Okay. And when you close your eyes, the perception that you have of your body and of your nervous system is different than when you open your eyes. Yeah. Because if you close your eyes and you're like, okay, where's the mic? And then you think the mic is there, but sometimes it's gonna be, the mic is right there, and you're like, oh no, shit, where is it?
So wrong.
But if your eyes are open, like you don't even think about the proprioception. You just go where you see.
Yeah.
And with juggling is the same thing. So closing one eye at a time, because 7 balls with your eyes closed, I don't think it's possible. 3 for sure, 4 maybe.
3 is not bad. 4 is
5
doable. 5, I think. I bet there's a world in which someone could do it if they trained it, but it will take so much training.
It was gonna take a decade or 2 or something.
It would take someone is naturally just visually impaired, I think, and
maybe
and then is also in love with juggling, which would be difficult, but I think it's possible. I don't like saying things
impossible.
I think there are a lot of things that are impossible,
Yeah.
but in terms of things that like are so close to the skills of human potential as we know it currently, I think many of those things are possible. Yeah.
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
But let's say 7, that's gonna be really hard.
That might be
mountain to climb.
Yeah.
So, but one eye closed, and then switching one eye to the other every second or 2 to like play with how my nervous visual system connects with my body nervous system. It's helping me to uncover small parts of deficiency in my nervous system, because I kind of like shut down a part of it alternatively, and then I'm gonna constantly drop at the same moment, and I'm like, why is that? And so it's guiding me to refine that ambidexterity, like repatterning, if that makes sense.
not just having a dominant hand, but you have a dominant eye naturally. So if you can just equalize everything across your body.
Yes.
That's probably the best thing you can do in juggling.
Because the truth is, for me, it's like when you have a dominant hand, it's not just you have a dominant hand, is that the other hand is supporting the dominant hand.
Yeah.
So your whole body is not just you're not, if you have the right arm dominant, you're not just using the right side of your body. You're also using the left side to anchor you so that your right side can be the dominant.
Yeah.
So flipping that around and becoming ambidextrous means becoming dominant with the left hand, but also teaching the right side to be the supportive, anchoring side. And what I'm realizing is that I thought that, okay, I'm a right dominant, and then I told you like some years ago I became left hand dominant. So it's like kind of like flipped around, and I thought like, oh, this is crazy. So now it's like everything is changing, but I thought, oh, now I can do either right or either left. But no, the next step is the true ambidexterity, is that every motion that I do, I toss a ball with the right hand, my right arm is dominant, and my left is supportive. And then the next toss I do, the pattern flips around, and now I'm dominant with the left and supportive with the right. So it's kind of like this constant dominant supportive balance that keeps triggering right left super fast
for odd numbered patterns and such.
For everything.
Oh, okay. Wow. I guess with Fountain it would do the same thing.
For everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I am working on ambidextry. So what's the one that you do this?
The shower.
The shower. I do the shower on the left.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm trying to be as efficient on the left than on the right. So I really will flip everything I have. And recently I started like doing the pirouettes on the other side.
That's what we talked about this maybe a year ago or so. I think it was maybe it was a couple of years. I don't remember. It was just like the concept of like we should be equal in every way.
Yeah.
And spinning left, spinning right, and then I guess one thing I played a lot of sports as a kid, like baseball, and I realized one day that my right hand is better at catching because my left hand does all the throwing and your right hand does all the catching.
For sure.
And then it translated to juggling of my right hand is really good at throwing and my left hand is really good at catching. And I wasn't sure if that was genuinely the case because they were more used to those characteristics, or if that my left hand was just much better at throwing, so my right hand didn't have to work as hard to catch, and my right hand was worse at throwing, so my left hand had to struggle more to catch the ball. And I never quite understood if that was true or not. Right. If my left hand is just better at throwing and my right hand is better at catching, or if my right hand is not better at anything and my left hand is just better. Yeah. But I think my right hand is better at catching and my left hand is better at throwing. And I would love to learn how to make them equal, because I think those inefficiencies of us as jugglers are the greatest weakness, or the things that are holding us back the most. I think there are a lot of little things, but specifically if you can make your hands equal or not have a dominance.
Yeah. Where do you feel it taking you or slowing you down?
Definitely when it comes to like the more technical sides, like 9 balls, even 8 balls. Like I can feel my 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm trying to flash 12 balls, and I don't think it's that hard. I think it'll
to
just
flash
take
12.
Yeah, that's my goal right now.
So
I mean,
you're
it
flashing
is
already
it is
10?
hard. Yeah, 10 and 11, and 12 it'll come, but right now it's just my right hand. Like my left hand is so ready. It's like done, and I've had multiple sessions where I catch all of them, and then I catch 4 or 5, and the right hand is not as fast. It's not as accurate. It likes to drift, and that's just my weaknesses.
Yeah.
So I need to work on my right hand.
So for me, what I realized when I was strengthening my weaker side, and especially when you start to get at such height with such velocity and speed,
you need the power and the speed and the accuracy.
You need so for me, the power was lacking because I realized that my left abdominal, so like the abdominal on the side, like
the obliques,
maybe obliques on my left, and my lower back on my left was weaker, which means, and like it's not weak, but just weaker than the right, which means that on the right, like the chain pattern, the muscle chain pattern that you're using when you're doing this movement and then you're tossing super high actually goes all throughout your body all the way to your foot. And the missing link for me was this part in my body, like oblique and lower back on the left.
Interesting.
Because this was a weak link, so I couldn't connect that motion of tossing to my legs and to my glutes and to feeling more powerful. And I can do that on the right because this is not a missing link. So when I toss, I can feel that I'm even like pushing a little bit my foot on the ground to like toss that ball. And then on the left, I couldn't feel that because I was missing that connection. So lately I've been doing like strength exercises with like bands and little weights, but nothing heavy, but just little weights or specific movement where I'm going to twist my body and go and dig into that muscle and try to like trigger it.
Feel it. The mind-muscle connection of how am I using this? How do I activate this? If I can just think about it and flex it, that's what you want to get there.
And I'll just do that in my practice.
Okay.
So then once I get to 8, 9, or 10, and then I'm like, I don't feel it. I'm a little weak. I'm gonna stop. Do 5 minutes of that. Go back to it, and usually it helps me engage it while I'm juggling. Then.
A lot of jugglers don't get there of like understanding what muscles they need. It comes up naturally with numbers juggling, just because you have to activate everything. Like if you don't train it super hard, you won't find what's sore in the morning. And you have to like know, are these the right muscle? Am I using the right muscles? Like my upper back, my lower back, my legs, my abs, my obliques. And I don't know if you know Tom Whitfield, but he's an amazing juggler out of the UK, and he's kind of smashing all of the numbers records.
Nice.
Recently, and he's a big advocate of strength training. And I've started incorporating that much more in my juggling. It's just like getting stronger. Because you need the power.
You need the power.
You just.
I'm exactly at the same point actually right now. Of realizing what I'm lacking is the power, is the strength.
And I think I think that for the possibility of what numbers could be and jugglers is like we as humans, or I guess not humans, we as jugglers, if you look at our body types and who we are as people, we are not freak athletes. We look like, I mean, you're quite tall, so maybe I think if you took...
That's a good point.
I think if you took, like, some of the best athletes in the world, like probably NBA players, they're 6'5" to 6'8", and they're massive and they're huge, and if you taught them to be coordinated, I think the potential of what is juggleable is, like, drastically changes. And I think also the props would change. If juggling was a multi-billion-dollar sport like NFL or the NBA, everything would change. If there was just money behind juggling,
forget about it.
Yeah, but that's
also the good thing. To be honest,
you're right.
I kind of like that juggling is not, fancy or not a lot of money, because also that's probably why there's all those very nice people.
The community it has to be the best, one of the best communities in the world.
And the most diverse.
Like,
literally what we share is this passion for juggling, and therefore I never had any question around like what people look like, where they come from.
It is definitely a male-dominated field, but we're only getting more inclusive, and it's only getting better. And it's nice to see that.
I never felt like I was excluding anybody.
I don't feel that way either, but I understand that just like systemically being anything that's male-dominated is like might inherently restrict people from joining. Just they might see it as the outside and look in and just it might be harder to.
That's a good point.
I don't know, assimilate or associate or make friends. But
when I started in Europe, in France, there was like everybody.
Yeah. I think in Europe it is much better. Like circus is more popular.
Yeah,
it's more welcome. In the States, there's no youth circus schools. There's no. I mean, maybe I'm just speaking from where I came from because I'm the middle of nowhere.
I mean, it's starting. But it's true that in Europe, like the resources are just way bigger.
Very
and there's
public,
more and it's supported by the government and stuff. So it's like it's way more embedded into the society. And I never had any, like for me, I really started in the circus more than the juggling
and
community.
I'm the opposite. I want to know more of what that's like because I still don't know much about the circus.
For me, it's like when I started the circus, it felt like, well, I'm part of a community of freaks. It's like basically the freaks. Like so everybody on the margin of the society tend to just go and be around the circus because the circus was always inclusive from the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, even if you think in old times, like, the midget and the bearded woman, and then all the freaks,
sideshows and
sideshows and the stuff like this always been part of the circus. Like it's normal. So for me, like growing up in the circus, everybody was weird.
I guess it's almost part of being in the circus at some point was it's just different. So it feels like you should be weird, or that maybe it's more natural when you're different.
I agree with you. Like it's so. I thought it was interesting for me being in America during the Me Too and what we went through like recently of like opening more the culture and being more inclusive. Realizing I've always felt like my first community is the circus community, and it is 100% inclusive.
Yeah.
Because I told you, like, this is how it was.
We're all different, so we understand it more.
Yeah.
We just don't. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's a growth period that's happening, like on a like the whole country and the whole society level. But I was like, oh, it's time to catch up because I mean, I thought the circus was, as this juggling community for me, was always 100% inclusive.
And I think to your point earlier of like how it's good that there isn't all this money and competition behind it. I think competition, it like breeds greatness and like self-improvement and betterment of the sport or whatever you'd like to call it. But I think the aspect that circus or the juggling community as a whole is less competitive, that drives the more inclusivity. And there's less gatekeeping and there's more sharing of what tricks to learn and where to go and what to do and to see people. And so if it was more competitive, I think people would be restricted more aggressively just because of societal norms and what people like. I guess what it looks like, athletes who are the best, they kind of like get put into this place and then people try to be like them and then it kind of homogenizes what it looks like to be the best. And so it's nice whenever someone can break that and still become.
What do you like in competition?
I guess I've always been competitive, so I do enjoy the competitive aspect of it.
'Cause you did a lot of sports.
Lots of sports.
So you were
so very motivated by WJF and like sport jugglers. And that's also kind of what caught my eye in juggling in the beginning of the content I consumed was just WJF, and that's just what I became known. Not what I became known for, but what became known in my head of, I like this type of juggling. These people are clearly good at juggling. And I think I'm attracted to that. Any skill or like anytime anyone is good at anything, that is something that I equate value to, whether that's good or bad. And so I think naturally I was just drawn to trying to get better and better and then be around people who are also good because I enjoy that aspect.
That's very interesting.
And I guess it builds competition. But one thing I do like is that you'll have friends regardless of who they are, not of who they are, but like age groups or gender or anything. And you'll have friends who are 50 and friends who are 12, and you'll have friends who are 35. Like when I was growing up and going to the Kansas City Juggling Club, I was 15, and all my friends were 35.
Yeah.
And they were just whoever were teaching me anything. And then you go to a festival and you're hanging out with these 10-year-olds and these 12-year-olds who are like little kids, and they're doing 7-ball tricks. And then you hang out with the 40-year-old guys who have been going to festivals for 30 years, and they're doing the same tricks. And that's just what brings you together, is like the skill level of who's around you, because that's who you can learn the most from.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about competition.
That's very interesting to hear that, because it makes me think of my own, I'm reflecting on my own experience while you say that, and realizing that I started in the circus first.
Yeah.
I think I fell in love with the circus lifestyle, but also with the stage, with being on stage.
I would like to find this for myself. Would you like to talk about that? Because I don't feel like I'm a great performer, or that I'm necessarily comfortable on stage. It feels like the juggling that I've done has provided me an opportunity to be there, and I don't necessarily feel like
you're great on stage when I see you.
Thank you. Yeah. And people tell me,
you're
but
doing great.
And that's great. And I would like to like learn what it is for me to be a performer first, because right now it's just my background of juggling got me good enough to be on the stage technically.
For sure.
But I don't feel I am comfortable on stage and confident, but I don't feel like I belong to be there, or that I'm a performer. I feel like a juggler, and I happen to be on stage, and I've learned this act that is great, and now I'm just on stage. But I don't feel like I belong there. I'd rather just be not that I would rather be somewhere, but I would be content with just juggling and not being on stage. But what it provides me is too great to not do it. Yeah.
I feel the same way that you do.
Yeah.
Okay, I realized that if I would just, on an island somewhere,
we would still be jugglers.
I'll be juggling.
That's what I love about jugglers. It's like, we're gonna juggle.
I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel the same way than you regarding no matter what, I'll juggle.
Yeah, that'll always be
that's
there.
why I have a 6-month break between 2 contracts. I still juggle.
Yeah.
I'm practicing every day.
Yeah.
It's not because there's a job or not.
And it's better practice.
Practice. But I did fall in love with captivating people's attention and performing for them.
When did you learn you could do that? Because I remember seeing you at IJA on the stage, and I don't know if it was a debut or a new concept, but you came out and there was no music. And you could just the room was so quiet. Everyone is just waiting to see what's going to happen next. And you get these goosebumps and these feelings of you have no idea. And it's I don't know. It's very different from the standard form of juggling of let me present you the skill set that I have prepared in the privacy of my own home. And now I'm doing it for you in an order or in a fashion that I've created. And for you, it's almost like you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's what people want. And so, I guess, when did you first learn that you could captivate an audience this way on stage?
To be honest, I think I remember seeing a video of me at 8 or 9 years old doing a play at the school, the school play or whatever, Le Petit Ramoneur in French. So it's like a Christmas thing. So we were doing it, and I had one of the roles, one of the main roles, and I was going around. And on this video, which is funny as fuck, my best buddy was also on stage with me, but he was shy and not really feeling great about it. Mm-hmm. And there was the audience, all the parents was there, and we're doing the show. And as we're doing the performance, I was literally restaging him to face the audience and putting and so instinctively I had the consciousness of performing.
Let's perform for them. Yeah, they're watching us.
They're watching us. We're gonna do that for them. And finding, I was terrified. I'm still terrified. I've always been. I've stage fright, and but there's a part of me that enjoys it deeply.
Okay.
You know, and so that part has always been there. I think it's a hopefully healthy dose of narcissism.
Yeah. we all have a little bit.
I might have a little more than most people because I'm French, you know. So it's like I'm Parisian, so it's like I've always thought like, I have something interesting to say, you know, even though probably not. Like I'm like everybody else, but you know, that healthy dose of like, look at me. You're gonna enjoy yourself looking at me, and that's always been there.
Yeah.
And so, well, performing is pretty much, hey, look at me. I'm gonna do something.
And I don't necessarily like that about performing. And I think one thing that gets me more confident in that, or that helps me feel more comfortable, is just pushing the skill progression. And I think at some point that's not the most effective. Because people don't care if you're doing 5 balls or 7 balls or 9 balls.
They don't know.
And for me as a performer, that's what I need to prove myself to be on the stage.
Right.
But people don't care. And I need to like find this change of what that is to be a performer rather than to prove myself that I'm worthy of being in the place that I am.
Well, that's where maybe the competitive side of you gets in the way a little bit.
I think so, yeah.
Because when there's competition, there's comparison. So it's like, okay, who are the other performers on the planet performing? Oh, that guy over there does a 7-ball pirouette.
Really good.
That guy over there is doing 9 balls on stage and this and that. I need to do at least this to
even anything
compare.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry.
No, please go. Yeah.
I guess I don't. Sometimes you see, it's not just like he's doing that or he's doing this or she can do this like 2-ball foot pirouette catch behind the neck to the other thing. I guess what you learn is that the uniqueness, it also gives you the opportunity to be on the stage, like not just being the best at stereotypical standardized juggling in a technical way, but being captivating and doing unique and creating art is very different from the 7-ball 7-up 360 or what it is. Do you ever have these moments? I don't have them anymore, but I used to do plays as well in high school, where you're in a scene and you feel like you can watch yourself. Do you get that in juggling ever? Of like you're in the middle of performing and you feel like you can see yourself performing to the audience and the audience can see you, and it's all kind of, it's very weird. And maybe it's introspective in the moment when you're giving a monologue and you're just saying these words that you've memorized, but you're watching everything that's happened. I don't get it from juggling, but I don't know. I was wonder if you get it.
The times I get it with juggling, I fuck up.
Okay.
Because I'm not enough here to do the trick.
Focus.
To focus. Okay. So I tend to not go there.
If you start to see it or feel it, you like grab yourself mentally and pull yourself back. Okay, that's
because
good.
The times it happened kind of like naturally, it was a disaster.
You drop, or
I drop,
it falls apart.
and then it falls apart, and then I can't be there. So
it makes sense that your mind should be focused on what you're doing.
I mean, and that's the great thing about juggling is that we're multitasking on such a high level that it's like you can't do much more while doing 9 balls. You kind of have to freaking focus on it.
Yeah.
And so on stage, well, already you have to deal with the light. You have to kind of listen to the audience to be responding on some level or another to the audience. There's the music to be sure you're with your choreography. So there's enough to deal with that if I start to like dissociate, like I can't even do the trick. So maybe if I get really good at one point I can do that, but I guess right now I'm not good enough. I have to focus.
I have one question. I've thought about this a little bit. Is I've done the act in Absinthe with Doug and Tony and Joe and Jay and whoever almost 2,000 times now.
Nice.
So it feels very much like from time to time you go up and I am this wind-up toy of like we're gonna go do the act, and then we do the act, and then we go train, and the act almost feels removed from performing because of how many times we've done it in the same space with the same people with the same music and the same costumes. And I have very little experience performing juggling, I guess, outside of that now because I've only done that so much. So what do you do as a performer to be a better solo performer? Because as a trio, you can trust your partners, but as a solo performer, you can't just be this wind-up toy. Yeah. I feel, And so I would like to get into performing more. And you perform quite a bit, I would say, on the outside. So what do you do that makes you feel more confident as a performer? Or, and this is maybe in regards to act creation or just being on stage as a presence, or anything that helps.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say is that because you spend so much time doing that one act, and that now it's polished, and you knew every split second of it. It's not even second. You look
at the same chair. Like every night you look at chair number 354 on this catch because you've done it. And I almost want to remove that because it's too much.
The difficulty is that your brain now has cemented the performing with that act. So anything you do outside of that act will initially feel to you that it's sucks.
That makes it. Yeah, because it's not that pop. Like everything is to the beat. Every catch, every hit, every bow, every move,
So I remember when I stopped performing with Absent, I didn't stay as long as you are now, but I stayed 3 years, and I don't know how many times I did it in 3 years, but 500 or whatever. So that X number of time made it that I was so comfortable in that act that now stopping working for them, I started working on different acts, and everything I was doing felt like that's shit. That's never going to be as good as what I was doing there.
Because you don't have the reps?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because of the reps. And so that's just one thing that I'm saying. Just if you can take a little perspective and understand how the brain works, then you can give yourself a little more slack and leeway to like accept doing something different. Because I felt like for me that was a big deal to like, okay, accept that it's going to be different and it's not going to be as polished that what you're usually doing. So that's the first step. And then the second step is to perform as much as possible and to put yourself as much as possible into weird situations where you're not comfortable.
I don't like doing that.
I know.
Jugglers probably don't like doing
I know. But do it where you don't have the height, and now you have to modify everything and then figure a way, or be on your knees.
Yeah, I've turned down gigs because of the height.
It's
like you should
take it.
You should
learn. Mean, unless it's like a very legit gig and people are expecting you to fucking kill it. Then you're like, well, no, I can't do the act to that level. So
if you expect me to do what I normally do, I can't. But
if you're open to me trying something,
an experimental, smaller number version of
And most gigs, it's like they don't know. They're not expecting you to do like the Cirque du Soleil version of the thing. They're just like, oh, he's juggling, great, awesome. So messing up with the lights, messing up with the space, so all the physical things that could get in the way, that is gonna basically force you to be in the moment face your fears and face the public and face the moment, so you can start having genuine reactions of like, great, it worked, awesome, or fuck, it didn't work.
Sorry, guys.
Well, all right, what do I do now? And deal with that and learn to be comfortable in that space, because, I mean, I'll circle back to what you said earlier when I did my silent act at IGA. It's like, this act is the first time I did something like that where I did not plan the choreography.
Wow.
So I did not know what I was going to do. So I don't know what it's going to do. So the audience doesn't know.
If I don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. But by the end of the act, you don't think about this act being like, oh, he really didn't know what he was going to do. You have a storyline. It comes together. Because where you need to trust the audience is that the audience will create and write a narrative on what they see. It's like, people can't help it.
They have to make it make sense.
They have to make it make sense. So even if you do something that doesn't make sense to you, it might make sense to the audience. They'll try and put it
together. Okay.
So they're just going to be like, oh, the costume's blue, the bows are red, the things that he looked here, and at one point he did that trick, and somehow they're going to make, it was the moon turning around the thing. And then it literally happened to me a bunch of times. Where people came to me and was like,
is this what you
my God, you are representing the solar system and this and that. And I was like, sure.
I'm glad you saw that.
Exactly. You're right. This is what you saw. But the reality is like, I that's not at all what I planned. But I mean, obviously don't tell that, because if they, whatever people
if you
see
evoke
is
some
what they
emotion
see.
from an audience,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what you're trying to trigger. But then if you understand that principle, you realize that actually your job is a little simpler than what you think it is.
Yeah, because people are going to do some of it for you. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's quite
You
nice.
don't have to write everything and have everything figured out. So that's why I say, go fucking do it.
Go, yeah, okay.
Find a new song, something you like, write a loose routine on it, give yourself some time where you don't know what you're going to do.
Just
so
do it, yeah.
maybe there's going to be time for interaction with the audience, and then maybe there's going to be a silence, but you saw me on stage in silence, just sitting there in silence.
Just look,
it's still interesting.
It's so good.
You know?
How is it so good? Right? I love it. And that you're right. It's like, just find a song. And my sister used to tell me this, probably because she would see me struggling to get anywhere with anything, is that done is better than perfect. It's like, just get something done, because you can improve upon something that's finished.
Yep.
But if you don't start because you know what you've made so far isn't perfect, you're never going to finish.
That's a very
So
good point.
I got to get better at that.
No, and also it's okay to, it's normal to have those feelings, and it's normal. It's hard to put yourself out there. I mean, I'm going to do my one-man show for the first time.
That's the 26th?
Yeah,
of
next
November?
week.
Okay.
And I've been performing for 30 years, and I'm fucking terrorized.
It'll be good.
Probably the bigger part of me is like, I don't want to do it. Just fucking cancel. That's fine. Just keep doing an act. Like, why are you doing 45 minutes by yourself now? Like, an act is not enough. And then there's this kid in me. I told you, like, this 6-7 years old. That's like, no, look at me. It's gonna be great, And
the narcissistic 7-year-old.
7-year-old that's like, watch me.
But
so I'm like, okay, like, at least do it.
Yeah,
and then fucking see what happens.
You can't get better if you don't do it. You can't, You can't learn, you can't evolve.
And
you can't
accept
change.
it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to be a first draft.
And that's also the point of it.
It's the point of it, and just improve on it. And as you go, I mean, the first time you did Absent.
Oh, yeah.
You must have been freaking out.
I was shitting bricks, yeah. I still remember walking out in the darkness of like, you just see all the glowing heads of people around the tent, and you just try and breathe, and then the music starts, and everything is so slow because you have so much adrenaline. You're like, why is it in slow motion? Is this right? And I'm looking at them, and they've done it at that point, hundreds, if not.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
a way to start as a trio with two other people
so much
that are going to just go for it.
So confident.
And then you can kind of like hop on the train and just go through
I can be the support, or I guess, I can be the support for them to do the act. Yeah. And But
now you go on stage and you're like, you don't think twice about it.
Now we're all, Doug and I are warming up, and Tony's in the corner just hanging out waiting for our time to go up. Because Tony, it's his act. He's done it
a gazillion
4,000 times. Like more than anyone. So it's so ingrained in him. And I think also the act isn't too the act is just great. It's the perfect act to be able to do, because technically it isn't the most difficult, and it's so timed perfectly to the music. And it looks great, and we use the space.
It's highly entertaining.
Yeah. It's the best type of act to have for regular people to see juggling. Yeah. Because juggling can be quite annoying to the average person.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Which was my first thing, like 45 minutes of juggling. Really? You want to do it?
I'm gonna love it. I'm really gonna enjoy it.
I know, but it's like, it needs to be enjoyable for everybody.
That's true. That's true.
So. I hear you.
Maybe not everyone. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right about that, actually. Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not trying to serve McDonald's. I'm trying to do something with a little soul.
Like, for me, if I were to coach or to teach, I don't want to. Maybe this is bad or wrong. I don't mind. I would want to teach people who are more so intermediate and have this hunger for juggling rather than beginners, because I don't enjoy when I give time and energy and people aren't ready, they don't want it, or they don't want to receive it, and they won't give it back. So if I try and teach you how to juggle 3 balls and you aren't interested in learning to juggle 3 balls, already there's this disconnect of why are we doing this together? Yeah.
Right. And maybe. But what about people that are interested in juggling and that
then I would be
juggling
and what?
And that don't know how to juggle.
Then I would be more interested in doing it. Even then, I would prefer to teach people who have given a bit more into it, or be a bit more, what's the word, invested in juggling, to put their time. So I'd much rather teach someone how to do 5-ball tricks than how to learn to juggle 3 balls or 4 balls. But
that's interesting that you say that, because in my juggling school, plug Juggle Groove Academy.
What is it called?
Juggle Groove Academy.
Okay.
I have both.
Okay.
And when I was younger, I wanted to teach advanced juggler.
Yeah.
Because the narcissist in me was like, well, if I'm the teacher of a elite juggler, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm enjoying a lot teaching people that don't know how to juggle at all.
Okay.
And it's in my case, people pay to come to the juggling school. It's their choice.
Yeah.
I'm not a part of a university or anything, so it's like, if you want to learn with me, you have to sign up and learn with me. So they are motivated.
That shows a bit of investment already.
Exactly. They're already investing themselves. They're already investing time. They're showing up every week or twice a week, and then they're practicing. So I have people that want to learn.
That's nice.
But what I'm realizing is, because with the more advanced juggler, usually I need to deconstruct a few things in their technique to replace some of the fundamentals that they,
I haven't thought about this.
Self-taught.
There might be some pullback.
You pick up some, and so that's really hard to do, because especially if you're advanced, like, I already put so much energy in this. Now you want me to go back,
change the way I throw or catch,
like,
or train. Yeah. I haven't thought about that.
So there's resistance there, and it takes courage, I think, for jugglers that have been doing that for a while, to like open up a space of like, okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna play the game. Learn that, because what I say is like, well, learn it, and then once you learned it, if you
then do it either way.
Exactly.
Whichever way
then
you want.
You choose.
Yeah.
But if you never try,
if you never learn,
now you're kind of stuck in a pattern that you think you chose, but actually you didn't really chose it. You just got there because you self-taught yourself.
It's just your tendencies.
Yeah. So learn that and then make a choice. But it's very hard to rewire bad habits, basically.
It really is.
If I teach someone who never juggled, I'm going to teach them how to catch perfectly with 1 ball. And we're going to spend the first month
perfectly with
just
1 ball.
Juggle 1 ball,
I hate
but
that.
toss it and catch it perfectly. So then when we go to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, I never have to teach them again.
It's easy.
It's easy.
It's like you're ready. Essentially, a lot of people try to move on too soon. Like, we want to be better. We want to be the 5-ball juggler. And it's like, well, work on... You can barely juggle 4 balls. Why do you want to be better? We all want to just progress too quickly.
Usually it's like skipping some little steps and progressing too quickly. I agree with you. That's also somehow a mentality that I've always had, because I remember when I was learning to juggle at 18 at the circus school, like the Fratellini Circus School in Paris. My coach was Italo Medini, an old-fashioned juggler, super traditional, barely gave a shit about me. I was like young and was not really great. I seriously started juggling at 16, so like a little later than you. And so by 18, I was doing like 5 balls, but not great. And, like, you're starting, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember pacing myself and be like, trying 6 and be like, oh, I think I start getting it, but not yet. I'm going to keep working on my 4 and my 5.
Oh, that's so good.
And somehow I've always had this mentality of like, it's okay.
This understanding that it'll happen. Yeah.
It'll happen. I don't need to spend 5 hours on 6 today. Let's spend like 4 hours on 4 and 5 and a little bit on 6.
Yeah.
But then overdoing it.
Oh, you work too much on the easy things?
So I spend a lot of time working, not easy things, but just
more where your current skill level is at. Yes, that's a better way.
And then regularly like trying 6, and then only seriously dedicating myself to working on 6 once I was able to like flash it and kind of like Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see it now. Now I can work on it.
It's also I think when you do that more often, when you train at your current skill level, and then even if you do overtrain at your current skill level, and then you try things that are new for the first time and they come naturally,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, I am ready.
Yeah.
And then it's like an understanding that you have solidly gotten better. You have like self-proof versus training 6 or whatever way too soon, and then after a month you're like, I've gotten a bit better, but it's not easy. It's still not easy. Yeah. It's so nice when you try new things and it just starts to happen and come naturally. That feels,
I freaking love it.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it means you're doing something right.
I agree. So I've been favoring that way in my progression.
Mm-hmm. I think that's much better way to do things. I didn't do that much. I always was searching for this big trick. I would spend the last hour of my practice trying to hit this big trick that I want in my head that will give me this validation of I'm a good juggler. And that doesn't mean you hit a trick one time. It doesn't mean you can do it. Or
no,
that you're
but
juggler.
It means it's possible.
It means it's possible,
which is a good feeling too.
But as a juggler, I think we should search for and try and maintain consistency rather than, I don't know, the ceiling of whatever your peak potential is.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you're going to give people most of the time.
Yeah.
If all the time. People are going to see the floor of your juggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Also, that's where in a solo act you can put things.
Yeah, exactly. You can't put your peak
freedom.
tricks. Yeah. You have,
because you're the only one building the level here, so you can't really count on the others or group tricks.
Yeah.
So then it makes sense to put harder stuff there.
Yeah, it's nice you can put harder things just because you know what you're capable of, and obviously when you add a whole nother dimension of depth and other people, things get harder. But
so how do you see juggling now versus when you first discovered it, like at 14?
Interesting.
Like
I haven't thought about this.
Yeah.
Is
it the same? Like, but obviously your understanding and your intimacy in a way with juggling has completely changed. But does it has a different meaning in your life now? Does it grow? Does it completely pivot? I don't know.
I think juggling as a concept and as a activity still feels very similar. I'm less motivated and less hungry now, I think, because I've put in a lot of time and effort, and I know much more of what I'm capable of. I think it's changed my perspective because I do it as a career rather than just as a hobby, and so the fact that I do it for work has changed it the most about juggling. I don't think it's changed as much as I would have assumed, because of how lucky I've been. I haven't had to be a struggling artist. It's my first real gig out of anything, and it's just a good one. And
it's probably the best one.
Yeah, and
don't get used to it.
You're right. And I've just been
it's
fortunate.
Probably the best one.
That's exactly. And I don't know. So I think that's my concept hasn't changed, because I think I would have fallen in love with it and fallen out of love with it, because there was a period of time in college where I stopped juggling and I was like, I think it's over. I think it's done. And then you get the itch like 6 months later and you come back and you're like, no, this is so good. This is so fun. And I get that with a lot of activities, not just juggling, whether it's sports or a game. I'll fall in love with it and fall out of love with it. But juggling has been one that's kind of always been there.
Yeah.
And I think that's largely due to the community.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I also dropped juggling, I think, around like 6 months when I was like 22 or something. And probably another 3 to 6 months at another point. Because I remember like there's 2 points in my life where like I dropped it for a little bit. But other than that, I've been juggling constantly since I was 16. So now 29 years.
Yeah, currently, at least now, I can't see. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me is like picking up juggling and learning what it is, because most of my best friends are jugglers. I now do it for work. It fills most of my, I guess about half of my mental capacity during the day of when am I going to juggle? Am I going to go to the gym so that I get stronger for juggling? It just kind of consumes me as, I don't know, a base rate on my day-to-day activities, which I quite like. Yeah.
Related to that, how do you feel mentally after a serious juggling practice?
Oh, so good. It's usually like because oftentimes, at least now, it does feel like work of like, I should go juggle.
Right.
I need to be why am I not juggling? And then there's days where you're like, okay, I'll go juggle. I'll eat something. I'll caffeinate. I'll go to the gym. And after 20 minutes of just warming up, you start to get happy. Like you're listening to a good song and you just start smiling because you're juggling.
Yeah.
It's like, why was this not the feeling before?
Right.
Why did I have to work myself to get into this state of being happy to juggle? And then after the session, you come up and I have. After a session, I'll have 3 little chocolates, and it's like I did a good job, and I like sit there and enjoy them, and I reflect on my practice of what I'm happy that I did, and I don't know. It's usually the best thing I've done all day when I have a good session or just a long session, because I know I genuinely got better. I worked on things I wanted to, and oftentimes you'll film something, you'll learn something, you might create content. Yeah, it's just.
How long is a good session for you?
Yeah, I guess my average session is probably about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. I guess the whole time I'm in the gym is probably about 3 hours, but there's mostly like warm up. I'll skip some rope. I'll like move around on this exercise ball that I think is quite fun. Mm-hmm. And then
at this point, I'm starting to include that time in my juggling practice. Like,
I think it's good.
Considering like, the 20-minute warm-up before I actually pick up the ball. Yeah. That's part of my juggling practice.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I will count that as juggling.
Okay, yeah. I don't, but I think it makes sense because it activates your juggling practice much faster. Mm-hmm. When you don't have the warm-up, you're
still going to spend 20 minutes kind of warming up as you juggle.
And it doesn't feel as good.
No.
But when you start juggling and you are warm, it feels much because you're in it.
You enter it directly.
You enter it and you're already focused. You don't lose a bit of the focus that was to going into the warm up, and you just enter and you are focused and things feel good. And you still like have to warm your hands up and drill a little bit, but it comes much faster.
Yeah, because I feel like you prime your nervous system to be ready to do it.
Definitely.
And if you don't do that, therefore you warm up while you're juggling, which actually you're now training your nervous system the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then you have to recover to finally get it the right way. So sometimes I feel like it can even be counterproductive to not
prime
not prime your nervous system.
I find myself it's getting the focus primed, at least like skipping or jumping rope and doing some footwork patterns and just activating whatever it is in your brain, like the learning mechanic of when things mess up or when you get frustrated. I think that's a good trigger in my head of something's going wrong. What is going wrong? Let's fix that. And I think that's just the basics, basis of improving anything, especially juggling.
So you're triggering the mindset.
Yeah. So whenever you get frustrated, I think you should look at that as a positive. Maybe not necessarily a positive, but
an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
An opportunity to grow. So, how do you deal with frustration?
I've ever since I've learned that concept, I quite like it. Because it takes me, it's a way to step outside yourself. Oftentimes you're doing something you've done 100 times and you're dropping and you're like, why should I be able to do this? And you shouldn't think I should be able to do this. You should think, why am I dropping? What is going wrong? Right. And oftentimes it is, if you can do it all the time, while you're not warm and you're trying things that are too hard, or you're on autopilot and you're just throwing because you've done it 100 times and you're not focusing on where your throws should be going. You're not spotting in a 360. Or
on some level, you're not present to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where I think the priming before warm-up really helps that. So I would say anytime I'm frustrated,
on some level, it's a little bit of a meditation.
Yeah, like, I guess so.
Getting yourself in sync.
Yeah, with juggling. Or just being present.
Present.
And also wanting to be there. to be genuinely focused, because when you're at a convention or a competition or a festival, you are present and you are focused because you're seeing your best friends, which you only get to see once a year, or everyone, and there's so many people and everyone's juggling and you're naturally present. But when you're again at your home gym or at the training space for the fourth time this month or the fourth time this week, it's easy to just clock in and clock out and not just say I did it, but you're not doing it if that's how you're juggling, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I think it's like consistency is probably the most important aspect, and it's good that you're showing up, but you want to be present when you're showing up. And the more often you're present and the more often you are at least consistently, the better you'll get.
Yeah.
So
the days I don't feel like juggling,
mm-hmm.
showing up and starting to juggle, sometimes and usually most times, at one point is going to flip.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy myself.
That's it. That's what I've learned. It oftentimes flips.
It also works like that for my mind. Like if like emotionally I don't want to juggle, but it also works like that for my body. If like I'm tired and I'm sore and my body's like, I can't fucking do this right now, I'm going to do the drill, the basic. I'm
5 minutes.
Do 3, and then as I do it, my body gets kind of like my articulation get oiled and the blood flows and then my body's warming up, and then at one point I'm like, oh, actually I don't feel that bad. I can actually juggle.
Yeah.
But before the session I was like, there's no way this is happening.
Exactly.
And yet most of the time it flips, and sometimes it doesn't. And then I also had to give myself permission to literally drop the ball, to literally be like 1 hour in the session, be like, it's not fucking working today.
I'm gonna go.
I surrender.
I think that's good too. Yeah.
All right, but it rarely happens. But once every 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
If that happens, I also learned to be like, today is not a day for my brain to juggle. Let's accept it.
I agree. I find the exact same thing. One thing I've done recently to help with this motivation paralysis, or like the act of I don't want to get up and juggle, is I'll just have a stack of rings located around my apartment and balls. I probably have 100 props in my apartment, and in an 800 square foot room. And at any point, if I think I should go juggle and I don't juggle, I'll just pick up 3 balls, or I'll pick up a couple rings and do pancakes or do flat fronts or flats. I'll just grab balls and do drills until something catches my interest. Even some body throw variation, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah,
okay,
I
have the itch. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go practice this and train this. And
that's cool.
That really helps. Just starting like the smallest thing, like you said, really just you flip almost instantly.
Yeah. I was thinking about what you said earlier about, so I don't know what it is. Like sometimes I don't want to go, but then I go, and 20 minutes later, I'm so happy I'm here. And I wanted to say, I think I have the answer to that. We're humans.
Yeah.
We're human.
I think so.
We're just human, man. We're the thing is, I agree with you. In juggling, one of the most important thing is consistency, and the challenge is to have consistency as humans, because we're not consistent as humans.
And it is work. But we find out that we love it because we're jugglers and we're juggling. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how do you sometimes think about longevity in juggling? Like how do you see yourself not just in like 5 years, but let's say like 30 years?
Yeah, I don't think about this much at all, but I know I will be juggling. I know I'll have, even if I'm just throwing 3 balls around, I'm gonna be tossing and manipulating. Who knows? I'm not the biggest fan of passing, but I might turn into the 65-year-old dude at every festival every month, just haggling every person who walks by. You want to pass?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
which is awesome.
And as a kid, I was like, why? And it's like this human loves juggling. They're just trying to hang out.
They want to share it.
And that's probably going to be me when I'm older. Like, I don't know. I love juggling. I love the community.
I mean, you do a lot of passing with Doug.
Yeah, I mean, I love technical passing quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you mean like social? Yeah, not necessarily like social passing, but
I'm
like
not a big talker.
You're doing like
at a festival
crazy tricks with the.
Yeah, we like pushing the boundaries of.
What did you do? Like 14 recently? Like...
Yeah, I guess we've been trying to break all the records Doug and I mostly do ball passing.
Yeah.
So we have 11 through 8, the world record for 11 balls through 18 balls in dual ball passing. And then I have
18 balls?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are much better with patterns. There's some jugglers in the UK, Tom Whitfield and there's Dave Leahy and Dan Wood, and there's a whole group of them who are very talented passers. Yeah, and
my brain is Gruyere, is a Swiss cheese, so I can't remember names of. So I would say I'm not gonna blame you for forgetting names.
They're much better with the higher number. Like, I mean, I guess Tom is just better in every way. I think. Well, maybe not with the consistency of patterns. Like for lower number, but that's probably just because we haven't trained together. Same. And Doug and I are like, we've learned each other's tendencies, and we've learned how to improve and how to make things better. But the guys in the UK are, in terms of numbers, they're just on another level. Like Tom, I think he qualified 12 balls.
Nice.
Unreal. And I think he broke the 13 ball record. I won't be surprised if he breaks the 14 ball record soon. And I could be behind. Maybe he's already done these things. And so they've flashed 22 and they've flashed 21. And I think we can probably break up to the 20 ball record, but 21 and 22 are definitely beyond Doug and I's current capabilities. And then I guess with Jonah, we broke the 14 ring passing world record, and then Dominic Harant and I broke the 13 ring passing record recently. So numbers passing is, like, I would say my forte.
Yeah.
And it's what I think I'm most motivated to do, because nobody's breaking the barriers, and I know that it's possible. And so I'm just happy that I get to do it.
How do you know it's possible?
Well, I guess it's possible by just doing it. Like, so
it's the curiosity of seeing, like, can I actually do this?
Yeah,
and then proving to yourself that yes, you can, because at first you were like 3, and then 4, and then 5, and so, well, why not?
Yeah.
And so it's just this constant.
And I'm competitive, so it's fun to break a record. I get validated by saying, "Oh, I broke this record with a friend," and I hope they feel validated too. And on the biggest scale, it's that these moments, I hope Tom actually introduced this concept to me, is like, anytime you can do something like this, it's much, rather than having it be for yourself, it's for juggling.
Right.
Because as a technical juggler,
proving to the juggling world
all you want is that the skill progression naturally improves over time, so that long after we're gone, juggling as a concept, as a sport, as an activity will continue to progress.
But don't you think sometimes it's a little intimidating for people that are starting to juggle to be like, what, you can do like 22 ball passing, and then they're learning like 4?
Yeah, I mean, I think yes, but also I think just as much as that, there's going to be somebody else who's hungry and wanting to see what's possible, because that's who we were.
And I guess everybody's going to find their own way to relate to juggling. So I get what you're saying. So it's like pushing those boundaries in that way. Yeah.
And oftentimes you don't know what's possible until you see somebody do it. And I think that's quite present, at least in today. I think there's a lot of technical jugglers who are getting better and better than anyone who has ever been. This is a different concept, because Anthony Gatto is a legend, and I think we're getting close, not in terms of like as a complete juggler being better than who Anthony is or Anthony was, but I think there will be a day in which, and I mean, there's specific areas in which people are better than him, without a doubt. And I think that it won't become common, but it will be more prevalent. Yeah. And that's what I want.
Isn't that the thing that we see in, like, someone break the record of like running?
Yeah, a marathon.
And then
Kipchoge. And
a month or a year or two later, like 10 people on the planet now breaks the record.
Yeah. In terms of
someone showed that it's possible.
Exactly.
And therefore it opened up like the avenue for more people.
Exactly.
So yeah, I like this way of thinking about it.
And also it's just definitely possible. I think oftentimes you can look at the skill of any individual and see that, if you can flash 10 rings, and you can flash 10 rings, and you put enough training together, you can flash 20 rings together.
Like, it would make sense.
Yeah. It's just numbers.
For me, when I started to juggle, internet was not around yet, but I was lucky because I trained in Paris at Fratellini, and at the time the school was open to professional jugglers. So I had a bunch of professional jugglers, like including Victor Key, for example, 1998, coming to practice before he went on tour with Dralion.
Wow.
So he was like 20 something. He was like what I remember and what I know of him, he was at the peak of his
best
juggler I've ever seen.
Wow.
I saw him practice 7-ball pirouette with the ball on his head.
That's crazy.
And double
as a balance,
and
then he does the pirouette and it stays.
So he has he has 1 ball on his head, and then he's doing 7 flash 7 pirouette, catch the 7, keep juggling with the 7, and then he did double pirouette with the ball on his head with 5 balls.
That's
also fucking nuts. Like a double with the ball on your head.
That's crazy.
So, but he was training next to me. Therefore, yes, it completely blew my mind of like, oh, that's possible. Great. But also, because he was training next to me for 2 hours, half the time he was dropping. So there was also what came with, yes, you can do that, was the knowledge of, oh, but you just practice. And it's not because you're really good that you don't drop and you don't practice. And what I'm afraid of today is social media, where people show just the clip that's perfect.
Oh, no drops. Yeah.
And then for new jugglers or people that are trying, they're going to see those perfect images in a way without the consciousness of, but to get that clip, it was an hour.
It wasn't,
with 100 drops.
Failing on cooldown. Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day, and I realized, I was lucky actually to be exposed to that level, but with that level came the understanding of,
I haven't thought about that.
You drop. It's normal.
Yeah, because
even the best drop. I mean, you drop all the time.
Yeah,
I drop all the time.
We're jugglers. If you don't see other jugglers, like I traveled to conventions every month, and so you see, dropping is natural. Dropping is going to come.
It's just
I haven't thought about that. Maybe these younger kids are growing up and there's no club in their town, and they only see the clips online of these
10 rings, boom, again and again and over, and then the reels goes, and then you only see the perfect version of it. I mean, I guess you kind of learned with the internet. You were lucky.
I was traveling. My parents.
You went to clubs.
Without that, it would be much harder. Because it always helps to have a club or to go to a festival, and I hope that kids understand that that's much more beneficial than scrolling on Instagram and seeing like the peak of what people are doing, because to get there, they have to be motivated by going to festivals and seeing content.
In a way, that's a little bit what I'm afraid social media is lacking. Is like showing the way. It's like showing the grind. And
some people do it, and some people never share a drop.
Right.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that, because from your perspective, you're like, I don't want to show when I suck, so you want to show when you're good. But recently, I started sharing with my students some videos of my practice. So I'm gonna practice, and then I'm gonna record, and then I'm gonna share a 10-minute video of me just practicing 6 balls. Yeah. And it's not edited. And it's just 10 minutes of me practicing 6 balls. So there's a bunch of runs in there that are like awesome. Yeah. But there's also a bunch where like I start and it just breaks. Falls apart. And then me just having to be on my knees, grabbing the ball underneath the thing to show them hey, I'm like everybody else.
Humans.
We're humans.
We're here for us. We're not here to be some perfect pedestal of a juggler that we present to the world. Yeah. We're all just trying to get better.
I think it's a good reminder.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like the humanity part of that, and understanding it's the grind. It's enjoying the grind and enjoying the drop and enjoying the failure and trying again. Like that's it's the only way we get better, really. Like if every time it needs to be perfect, you're never going to go anywhere with juggling.
Mm-mm. Yeah, you got to push your limits. You can if you're just going to stick doing 3 balls every day, all day, you're not going to get much better. Yeah. But also, if you're dropping 9 balls without flashing or without being able to throw accurately, you're not going to get anywhere either. So it's finding the balance.
Finding the balance. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Do you have anything else? I don't know how long we've been chatting, or
I think we've been at it for like an hour and some change.
What were your intentions with everything?
Just that.
Yeah.
Chilling and having a chat with you, man, and getting to, geek about juggling.
It's fun.
And have your perspective on it. And
I wouldn't say it's the most unique, but I enjoy it.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. Maybe it is unique. Well, I guess everyone's perspective
there's only
is
one
Noah,
so it's
true.
like it has to be you.
I guess so. I guess it's my mind. I always like the competitive aspect of my mind. It's always like
comparing yourself.
I always compare. But at the end of the day, you should understand, like, other people are also just comparing themselves. At least I hope not. But I think we all compare each other because we see other people, and that's how we learn. We see and we're like, oh, that's so good. I want to do that. And then you do it and you learn. And I don't know, seeing and understanding and evolving and changing just comes from comparison, I think. But
it's interesting because it's I think I'm an extremely competitive person too. Mm-hmm. And I've never did sports.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've always, because actually competition paralyzes me.
Oh.
It doesn't.
I see that
pushes
sometimes.
Me.
Yeah.
And I think there's the narcissist part of me that is like, well, I want to be the best. Mm-hmm. Therefore, but when you compete, there's a chance you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in a way, I want to avoid that chance to maybe not be. But at the same time, because I'm mostly in love with performing, I feel like, well, when I'm performing, I'm not really competing. I'm just expressing myself. So it's not in the same realm of competition. So in a way, I can do that and do it at a very high level and be into it without feeling paralyzed. But like the pure sports competitive aspect has always been like hard for me to deal with emotionally. And so I tend to shy away from it.
And it's nice, you don't have to, like, it's nice that you don't have to commit to competing in any way or anything.
Yeah.
I think if you want to, you can. And there's also a bunch of different aspects and areas in which you can compete. Like you can compete through performing at the IJA, or you can compete through sport juggling at the WJF, or you can compete through games at a local festival, whether it's like balance endurance or Simon Says or combat. You can compete in the smallest of ways or the largest of ways, and you don't have to, and you can also just hang out and
you don't have to do it either.
Yeah,
you can just practice and hang out and juggle with the 65-year-old that wants to pass.
And that was like me for the first year of juggling. I was not competing. I wasn't trying. I was not involved. But I think getting good gives you the confidence to compete or to just be more of yourself. I would say that's like what opened myself up, was like understanding that I'm good at something just made me enjoy it more and made me want to share that with other people. So I think if you can improve, that will help your mental state with juggling. I assume it's helped you with juggling, like getting better with juggling. I don't know, it just gives me confidence. And also the ability to share that with friends is quite nice. But yeah.
For me, it's nearly like a given. Like getting better at juggling or at anything I choose to do in my life is normal. Like it's nearly like
it's gonna
goal
happen
of life.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just
I'm self-improvement, betterment. Yeah, I feel the
myself.
same way. I feel the same way.
I don't see the point in being here if it's not to, on some level, improve at all.
I guess to counteract that, I would like that. I would like, see, as a competitive person or someone who always is trying to get better at everything, no matter what it is that they do, I would love to find something. I would love to find something that I don't want to get good at, that I can just do. And I found that it's kind of hard. If it's like, is it reading? Is it cooking? Is it something that I don't have to like? I don't want something that consumes my mind of me trying to get good at it. And it's kind of hard.
Why is it consuming? What can it
just because I want to get better at it. Like if I'm cooking, all of a sudden, if I'm learning how to make a dish, all of a sudden my entire feed is comprised of how to make this pasta, how to make this, how to make that, how to chop vegetables the fastest way, the finest way. And it's like, why am I that as a person? Why does this turn into me being a chef? I don't want that.
So, well, maybe that's where you can start exploring the more artistic, creative part of you.
Yeah. Do you have something like that in your life that you do just for fun? Like for me, it might just be.
So for me, it's first for fun.
Okay.
And then there's an underlying consciousness that's tracking my progress or my repetition so that I do it better over time. So like you said, cooking.
Yeah.
The simplest thing in the world. Every morning or every other morning I make oatmeal in my rice cooker, and I put a certain amount of oatmeal, a certain amount of water, and some like frozen fruits and whatever. I closed the thing and I made it. I've been doing that for years, and over time I'm making it better. And I'm not trying to make it better. I just notice like, today it's a little overcooked, or today it lacks
it's a bit
water,
more natural.
and then so it's just in the background. It's just noticing. And so then I can improve. So it's not like I have this drive or urge to front load,
make the best oatmeal,
make it better
every day.
Yeah. But it's just that over time I pay attention to those things. So I feel like first it's creativity, being in tune with like, what do I want? What do I feel like? What do I feel like eating? What do I feel to do? Where is my body aching today so I can spend time taking care of my body, stretching, massaging, strengthening, whatever it is. I'm trying to just be curious and have that like question, like what is it that I feel like? And then applying this mentality of like, well, let's gently improve on it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's crazy or I'm seeing kind of like what is at the forefront and what is secondary.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's could be something different that in the way we're expressing those ideas. So how, like for you thinking of like, okay, I want to do like a solo act. I want to work on different things. How can you put the competitive part of you on the back burner? Not that it's wrong. Like you want to get better, but
the competitiveness is just to be as good as possible. But when it comes to an act, it's more self-expression and it's more, what do I want to see on the stage? Not how do I make a better act than somebody else? Because we don't care. We're not competing with making this act. And maybe there's a world in which you do present the act at some juggling competition like IJA or Cirque de Demain.
But that should be the last.
Yeah. We have to learn. We have to make the act.
You shouldn't create the act thinking that. I mean, unless you want to.
Maybe you are at a circus school or something.
Then you
which would be a nice goal.
It's a nice goal, but that would be a very specific act, and I don't know if this act would be actually very popular in an actual show.
Yeah, exactly.
It would just work there
at the IJ. Yeah.
But in a normal show, in a show with like regular audience, and
cabaret
stuff,
with
cabaret, you want to think about. Basically, you want to think about like what's fun.
Yeah. What do I want to do every day?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Is what do I'm because you're gonna show up and you're gonna do it every day, twice a day, for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And that's one thing where it's quite nice that the act we do is like very fun. Yeah. And I think if I were to do a solo, I probably would make it technically very difficult and not enjoy it very much. And that's something like you really got to manage that. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable, and then you're going to start to like not enjoy the juggling.
The beauty of a solo act is that you can change it.
You can change it. Yeah, exactly.
So if you put the bar too high and then you start doing it and you're like, oh my God, it's just too much, change it.
Yeah.
Like bring the level a little lower. And then what I tend to do is try to create an act where it's like, I'm pushing the level, but not too much. Mm-hmm. And once I get comfortable with it and running it and getting more in my body and getting comfortable with the stage and the venue and the type of audience, because you perform in Germany, German audience is different than a Vegas audience. That's going to be different than a very different than the audience in China, for example.
Yeah.
Like Chinese react completely differently to shows. So you get comfortable with that, and then you increase the technique once you get comfortable. And, you know.
And your baseline just gets better.
Yeah.
That's the nice once you unlock. Once your baseline is improved, that's much better than if your ceiling gets improved a little bit.
Yeah. That's what I appreciate in solo juggling. And I think duo and trios and group juggling and group like performances are awesome. But what I enjoy is the freedom in a solo. It's like, yes, it's hard. Like the attention is on you and just on you for the whole act. So there's no downtime. There's no moment where you can be like, okay, let me take a break. Like my partner is like taking over. So you're on the whole time, but at the same time, there's the freedom.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's nice because you can trust yourself, and you can only trust yourself. But if you drop and then you drop again, it's like, okay, here we go.
Now it's on you.
Here we go.
Yes. There's not the buddy that can be like, I got this.
But So it's always scary to lose an audience. You know, if you've done the show, if you just had you do 2 shows a night, and the first show is dropless, and you feel great, and the second show, you start and you drop a trick, and you try it again, you drop a trick, and you're like, oh, okay, and you move on, and then you drop again. It's like, I don't know. It's very mentally taxing, and I'm sure that's somewhere where you learn a lot about yourself on stage. I haven't learned that much about that because I don't perform as a soloist, but I'm sure you learn a lot about.
But you've learned as a trio.
I think so. The act is a bit specific, just because you drop, you move on. There's no trying again.
Yeah.
And so you drop, you just move on. If you drop again, you move on. And the act is almost correlated in a way where we don't have much mental stress because the act starts and we do this 3-person shower pattern. We walk in a circle, and then I just throw stuff away, and then we move on. And then once we get to clubs, or like once we get to balls, we do the balls and Doug throws them away. And then we get clubs and they're thrown to me and I'm chucking them. And you're almost kind of just like, it's okay if you drop because it's messy and we're like throwing shit everywhere and it doesn't matter. We get to rings and we throw 100 rings in the air and they just spat out and they bounce. And it's like nothing, like you start to feel like nothing matters.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the beauty of this act of Water on Mars. It's okay to drop. And if you can I think it would be fun to create a solo act where it doesn't fucking matter what I do. If I hit the tricks, if I don't hit the tricks. Wes Peden actually has a show right now called Roller Coaster. And he has a moment in the show where he does some of the craziest 5 club tricks in the world. And if he messes it up, he goes and does this little fun trick. And it's like this little reward that nothing has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen the show, but it's my favorite moment in Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was grinning. My face hurt from smiling so much and just watching what it was to create like the perfect performance piece, I think, at least for me as a juggler.
Yeah. Because you make the drop exciting.
Exactly. You don't care if you drop because there's something else that could, like, in a silly way, is almost more exciting. Because you got to see what the trick was going to look like or could potentially look like. And sometimes he hits the trick and sometimes he does this silly thing that is surprising and genius and funny and unique.
You know Martin
Pressburg. Yeah.
I'm working with him right now. We're building I'm coaching him to build an act.
Ooh, exciting.
Where we're found a concept where the drop is fun.
Okay. And that's really fun to explore.
Build it into the act and have that as a backup. So because he's doing crazy stuff.
Matan is a very technical ball juggler. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm really impressed and so we design routines combining some of the crazy things he does. Mm-hmm. So the level is really, really hard, but when he drops, there's a fun game happening. So right now we've been getting to a point where he can run the act and we can experiment. And every time it's like, he did some runs where, he drops like once or twice. And so it's fucking killer. But he does some runs where he's like dropping 9 times in the act.
Yeah.
And it's actually super fun.
Because
of the game.
That's
where
the
you're
best
like,
thing.
oh, that's not a problem. Then you can drop 10 times and it's still fun.
It's almost like if you did a flawless routine, you're like, well, I kind of wish I dropped a little bit.
Exactly.
And that's what you want.
If
you can get that in an act,
yeah.
Because then it's fun to perform. Yeah, there's no stress.
Did you? For me, I started feeling. Actually, I don't know if it was with Cirque du Soleil when I was touring with them or on another gig, but when I realized that I was able to do enough perfect runs of my act, and then within that, I did some runs where I dropped once, and I realized, oh, the best version of my act is actually when I drop once.
Oh, really? Just based on audience reaction?
On audience reaction.
Okay. Interesting.
Not when it's a perfect routine. Do you have that? I mean, I guess it's different with water and ours because you guys are chugging things right.
I think there are moments. I would say personally, conceptually, I would prefer a flawless run as a juggler, but I can definitely tell what you mean, at least in terms of the audience perspective. Yeah. Sometimes you drop and you hear the audience go, oh, because they're so invested, and then you move on and you're hitting every trick and they're like, yeah,
exactly.
And you start hitting, and then they're just more into it because you showed that it's hard and that it's vulnerable and that so
and you don't I never planned a drop ever in my
I don't like to
routine, but like when it does happen, not resisting it or getting freaked out and just leaning into it and keep going made me realize I was like you. Like for me, like I want to do a perfect run every time. Like this is the goal. And that's why I've been fucking drilling for a million hours. It's like I want a perfect run.
Exactly.
But the reality is the audience, in my experience, always has a stronger reaction if there's a drop.
My mom's one of her favorite things, which I kind of hate. I hate this, but she wants the performer to drop. She wants to see how they react. She wants to see how they evolve or what they've done, because it is a part of performing and juggling. And she's like hungry to see how they handle it. And I think it's part of a skill progression that you can provide of turning a drop into a trick or turning it into another skill, so that it's almost as if it didn't happen, or that it's a gift that it happened because of what you can do with it or how it.
I guess it's showing the human behind the performer, like because the drop is like a failure, an imperfection that just came up, because if you don't plan it, then by definition it comes when you're not expecting it, and then you have that genuine human person now that's failable, that's not perfect basically. And I think also the audience tend to connect and relate to the performer more when there's a drop, because it's like, oh, now he's like us. Because I can't do that. I can't fucking drop the ball. So exactly. Okay, we're both humans here.
And it's cool to be like this. I don't know. It's obviously nice if you want to feel like this perfect character, this like elevated person on a pedestal is just too good, but that's not true. Yeah. Like we're all gonna drop. And I don't know. Maybe it'd be cool to be that. Like there's people in the community that they don't drop. Even though we all drop. But I think dropping is a part of everyone's experience, and I think it's okay.
That is actually interesting. I've really never thought about the perfection of like not dropping.
Yeah. I remember I think this was on Facebook or some info feed about how Anthony Gatto doesn't drop. Like the first hour of his practice, he doesn't drop. And it's like, I don't know. Like
that's pretty cool.
Exactly. if that's true, that is pretty cool. But also, it's like, what are you doing in the first hour of your practice? Right. Are you just doing like 5-ball tricks? I mean, I guess it would be pretty cool.
It would be.
But as a performer, I don't know. It is. But
the thing is, like, if I start thinking, okay, I'm not gonna drop. Now I'm stressing out.
Yeah, you can tell you're on a roll, you're hitting everything,
and then I'm gonna drop.
The idea starts to sneak in.
It fucks it up. So thinking like, I don't care, drop as much as I want. Usually I drop less because I have that freedom and that flow.
Once you like restrict, you're scared and you restrict yourself. I hate that moment on stage. Yeah,
I hate it too. Also, when you're conscious that you're passing your own, max or whatever, and then you're like, oh my god, and then you drop because you're getting there.
Exactly.
But if you were not, so I have some tricks like that where like I trick myself by counting resetting the count
So you don't know
enough times that
I
actually don't really know how long it is, because I would have to make a calculation in my head while I juggle. So I'm like, I don't know, and then I just keep going, and I'm like, fuck, that was like so much longer than usual.
I feel that when Doug and I are doing the passing records, I'm the one who's counting. And I can tell my heart rate starts to build, my back starts to tense up,
and they're like, "We're gonna make it,
and then you drop, and you're like, we're so close. I don't know. And sometimes you're like, sometimes I tell him, sometimes I'm like, we did it, we did it, and he doesn't want to know. And it would be nice for me if I didn't know. I want to know, so I count because I want to know, but and sometimes
I guess you could just record.
Yeah, we do record it. We do record it, but I
not even count, and then
I find I still anticipate it because I know how long the records are, and I have you have a general idea of how long we've been juggling and how much longer it is to go, and then we get close, and then I start to get anxious regardless if I'm counting or not. Yeah, which I don't. So now I just count because I want to know if we broke it or not.
So what about tricking yourself by saying like, okay, the world record, instead of being like 20, you say like it's 40.
It's 100.
Yeah, it's 100. Like
exactly.
You put so then you trick yourself into like.
But I think what I've learned is I don't care anymore because I know we're gonna break it. Is like eventually. I know we're gonna break it, and then when we break it, the nervousness always changes around the record, and that's also why this idea of like whenever you break a barrier, everyone's perception changes. But before the record's 1,000 catches, you get to 900 and you start to get nervous, and then you break it by 150 catches, and now the record's 1,150, and you don't get nervous until you're at 1,100, and then you break it and it's 1,400, and now you're not nervous until it's 1,350, and so you just like train yourself to not be nervous until you get to the record, and then you just break the record, and then you get less nervous. So it's weird, this concept of the moment that you're going to break something starts to create this feeling for you. And the only way to make the feeling go away is to break it, I think. And just like lengthen that. And I don't know, because for me, there's always going to be this feeling or this heightened experience around the moment of what it is that you're trying to achieve. And for me, that's okay. For me, that shows that I care and I'm invested. And even if we don't break it, we're going to go back. We're going to do it again. We're doing this until we do it. So it's always going to be just before we beat it, and for me that's okay, because that's what drives me. That itch, that feeling of excitement is what keeps me doing it. So I don't care that I get nervous, and I'm going to keep counting. And also you get to practice the level of control when you start to feel that, because you can start to engage, and then you can see your throws changing, and you can tell your heart rate's increasing and everything feels off, but then you can like control it. And I think that is also, we don't get those moments very often of when you're like, holy shit, it's still going. You know, you don't get that feeling very often, but when you have it, you can start to like mitigate it and understand it and then prolong it.
And master it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is huge practice for stage too.
I think so.
I think so. Hard stuff on stage where like a funny fact, like when I was touring with Cirque, every year they do, every artist goes through like a basic test. So like how many pull-ups can you do? Physical evaluation.
Exam. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. And so one of them is you like jump rope or like do a step thing for like a minute as fast as you can, so you get your heartbeat going like crazy, and then you sit down and see how fast does your heartbeat
slow down. Get back to resting.
I've never done that exercise before, and then we do it, and then I win by far with all the acrobats and everybody.
Your heart rate slows down very quickly. Yeah.
And I realized, you know what it is? I'm doing 8 balls in the middle of the act, just after doing a bunch of stuff.
And
I have to bring it down and focus and do it. So like it's built into.
You've practiced it without understanding that you're practicing. Yeah.
Exactly. So it makes me think of that, of like going in those places and learning to master
getting in the state.
So you have to keep going. And you're right that there's not a lot of things in life that puts you
prepare you for
that unless you.
Oftentimes it's competition. But. And there's not a lot being in intense circumstances. Yeah. Hopefully some jobs are just stressful, but I don't want to do those jobs, I think.
I guess we could think that being a performer can be stressful,
Like,
with stage fright and everything. But it's true that it's not stressful, like, life is at risk or, like dangerous situation.
It's funny how the nerves go in waves of like you perform every night at Absinthe for a month and you're not nervous once you keep performing. But you take a 2-week vacation and you come back and you're nervous.
Interesting.
And it's like, why? Yeah. Nothing has changed. I only took 2 weeks off. Nothing else has changed. And that's what's interesting.
But that shows you how repetition and consistency is so important.
So acutely, so precisely of how relevant that is. Just getting the reps in, and then even just a short break and you're back and it's like, whoa.
I mean, do you ever take like 2 weeks off from juggling too if you go on a holiday or something?
Not usually. But I might like maybe a week off throughout the year.
How do you feel when you come back from
your week off? I'm nervous. And sometimes
just with your juggling by yourself.
I can tell it gets worse. For some people it gets better. Like, I guess there's two avenues of perspective. One is I get worse because I haven't been training, and it's definitely the maintenance. The maintenance makes me better, right. Like in terms of my technical capabilities when I practice side swap or numbers. And then also oftentimes, at least more recently, I've been training in the gym, and if I am quite sore, then I can tell my juggling takes a toll. And so if I'm quite sore from doing 3 days at the gym, then I might take 4 or 5 days off from juggling. And then when I juggle again, I'm like, oh, I'm refreshed. I've recovered. This feels much better. So there's both of those aspects of. I think maintaining my juggling definitely makes me better. And when I stop juggling for a week, I can notice a slight dip, at least initially, just from not having been maintained. And then also juggling while I'm sore, I don't like the feeling very much. I'll do it, but I can tell that it's my speed and my power and everything is diminished. And I can tell that once I have a session after I've recovered, I'm like, oh, I feel good. I'm ready. I'm happy.
I use the session when I'm sore to work on, so I don't try to be at my peak. I try to work on foundation stuff, and I use the feeling of being sore to feel more what's happening in my body.
Yeah, that's what you were saying about like your obliques and your legs and your abs. Okay.
Because if I am sore, then I'm going to feel more
where the muscles are being.
What's happening. Yeah. And therefore I'm going to use that to increase my consciousness and control over that, but with like, drop the ceiling and do simpler stuff with that. And then sometimes you do that long enough that blood flows and everything.
You stop getting,
and then boom, you can
get
do
less
it.
Sore. Yeah.
But sometimes not, and it doesn't matter because I appreciate those sessions too, for what they provide me with. Yeah. But I hear you. It's interesting. Yeah, for me now, I stopped juggling 2 weeks, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It takes me like pretty much the same amount of time. Like I stopped 2 weeks. It takes me
2 weeks to get back to where you were.
2 weeks to get back to where I was. Like in the routine. It takes me a week to get back, and then another week to just get comfortable and
it feels so good when you're.
When you're on a roll.
Yeah, it feels.
So I feel like I don't stop, never stop.
Right. I think 2 years ago, and maybe last year, there's like once per year where I start training really hard, and then I go on vacation, usually for like a convention. I've done this the last 2 years, and it feels so good. I think 2 years ago, I took all of my vacation in a stint of straight to go to WJF in Paris, and then go to Norway, and go to the IJA. And my juggling when I got back was the best it's ever been. It was so good. It was like you just hit tricks that you dream about because you've been juggling nonstop every day
and
with
no
the
pressure
best
of performing.
And there's no pressure. Yeah, you're
so
doing
you
it
don't
for
have
you.
to perform. You don't have to warm up for the performance. You can just juggle for you with the best juggler in the world.
And it's so nice because you're on vacation. You don't have to work. You do your juggling. You're naturally motivated because you're around the best jugglers in the world, and they're all your friends, and it's just
That's awesome.
So, and it's like obviously with the job we have, it's or at least Absinthe is the best. But we don't get much time off. Like we don't.
For sure.
Yeah. So, and that's okay. And that's okay. But it would be nice to have some time to.
I'm telling you, as a performer.
Yeah.
it's like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Like to be bitching about the fact that you're working too much. That's amazing.
That's a good problem.
That's amazing. That's a really great problem to have.
Yeah.
You know, like the finding work is hard in this day and age.
I think there'll definitely be a time in which I'm like, oh, fuck. Now what?
That was nice.
Yeah. It's like, now it's over. So now what?
Yeah, for sure.
That'll happen.
And there's going to be the next thing too. It's like, that's also like, I know that being in a show like this where you're on a roll and then there's no like end in sight makes you feel like, all right, that's just going to go forever. And nothing goes forever.
Yeah.
Nothing goes forever.
The moment you think it's going to go forever, every year it's like, I don't know. And then sometimes you'll be like, I actually feel pretty good. And then dropped, you know.
You never know.
Like,
so it's it's good to appreciate it while it is, like, you know. Even
and I think at some point, whenever it may be, it might be beneficial for my juggling to have to evolve and change and learn, because obviously in the situation I'm in, I don't have to make a solo act because I have this steady thing that's been going. But the most important thing I could do for my career is probably make a solo act, or like get absurdly ripped in the gym, but that takes a lot of time and effort.
For sure.
Yeah, just because, in terms of like being a performer in Vegas, sex sells. So the more you can be attractive on stage and get in shape, the more marketable I think you'll be.
That helps.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's not I don't think that's the most common in other places. Like, other jugglers might not get any benefit out of, you would get benefit from getting in shape and being active, obviously. But in terms of,
I would do that for yourself first.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, because what I'm noticing is that the better I feel, the better I look.
Yeah.
So
for me, it might be the other way around. No, the better I look, the better I feel.
That's a good one.
That's funny.
But
I think growing up, I was always a little bit overweight. And so it's nice to, like, this is the first time in my life in which I feel like I'm healthy, I'm active. Yeah, so maybe that's just it, that I feel better because I look better, but maybe it's probably I feel better because I genuinely feel better. Yeah. Like, I am just healthier. Yeah. So I feel better.
I guess they work in both directions.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They each,
The one thing I regret with Absent was during this 3-year period where I had the job security.
Yeah.
I regret that I did not work on my projects more.
I need to do that.
Because I felt safe and I felt, well, it's great. There's a routine and it's nice to appreciate the routine and to get it. But once it stopped, I was like, fuck, there's all those projects that I have that I've been thinking about and I've been slowly, and now they need to be ready and they're not.
Yeah.
And so I'm not giving you any advice because
please. But I need to be hit over the head with a frying pan of advice. Work on your project.
It is a chance you have that you're safe and stable, so then you can spend as much time as you want working on your act. You can spend as much time as you want, like dreaming about it. You can prep it for as long, and that is a luxury actually. And it's and so that the day it stops, because nothing's forever.
Yeah,
it will stop one day, and I'm not sure you want to see yourself there at 65 years old still doing the same fucking act. Like, I mean, for some people maybe
that's okay. Yeah.
But for me, it's like, well, no, you do it for a time, but then at one point it's like, wow, freaking.
Also, at some point, obviously, it would be nice to want to do it forever and to have the opportunity to do it forever. But also, it would be nice to want to do other things and experience other things because you've kind of done it.
Outgrow, and then you want to reinvent yourself.
And for some people, you just want to move on. You might be creatively diminished because you're doing the same thing every day, and maybe you're not motivated to do your projects. So you want to go and do your projects somewhere else.
And I think that's very personal. That's very personal too. So I don't think there's a formula. You can do 20 years in a show and be very happy. You can do 5, you can do this or that. It depends on everyone. But the reality is, the position you're in is awesome because you have the space and time and peace of mind to focus on something else. But the truth is, sometimes creating and being an artist happens when you have
when
no
you
choice.
need to. Yeah, when you have the
need to.
deadline.
And
Obviously.
you have the deadline
Yeah.
and you're in trouble. And that, and because I'm giving you that advice, but at the same time, I'm only doing this one-man show because I have to do it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I already sold it for
okay.
cruise ships.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now
yeah.
I have to fucking do
Now
it.
you get
So
you gotta
I signed
polish
the
it and learn it
contract
and make
without a show, telling my agent, no,
I got
trust
it,
me,
I
I
got
got it. I have a show. Don't worry, I can do that. And she's like, all right, when can you be ready?
love
Well,
it.
give me 2 months. Okay. And she gave me a contract and I signed it and I was like, fuck, now I need to do it. So I'm telling you that, and at the same time, I'm doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
But
It's good advice. It's still good. We can take your advice.
yeah, exactly. Listen to my own advice.
Wow.
I'm gonna listen to the podcast and take my own advice.
Yeah, I will do.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
That's
for having me.
phenomenal.
It's been great. It's been lots of fun.
Yeah, it's yeah. Thanks. I don't know how to finish this.
I don't know either.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe once you start the podcast and end it, and then the 5th time you bring it back, you'll have the way to. I'm joking.
No, but I've been thinking about it, and you know when I listen to podcasts, and the podcast just starts when you play it. I don't know if you listen to podcasts, but
they're in the middle of a conversation. Is that what it is? They've like edited it.
And then you press play and they just get into it. And there's not like the freaking music and the welcome to the podcast. And now we're going to talk about
our
guest.
sponsors. Thank the Patreon page.
Exactly.
And it's like people just, you click off it. It's like, I don't care.
I just want to, I'm interested in the content. And if I like you guys, I'm going to research you and find out about your shit. But like, don't fucking put it in my face every time.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, why not do that? Like, just start
it,
and it stops,
end it,
and that's it.